To know how I, as a licensed therapist, missed all the red flags in my own marriage? I spent nearly 2 decades training to spot manipulation, emotional abuse, and unhealthy patterns in relationships. I could see it clearly in every client's story that walked through my door. But when it came to my own life, I was completely blind. I was the one making excuses, rationalizing the behavior, and convincing myself that love meant accepting the unacceptable. If you're a high-achieving woman who feels like you should have known better about something in your life, or if you've ever wondered how smart people end up in situations that they would never recommend to others, this story is for you. Hey, beautiful humans. I'm Tiffany, a licensed therapist, a trauma recovery specialist, and the founder of Brave Self Method. But before any of those titles, I'm a woman who had to completely rebuild her life and identity from the ground up after I left. Today, I'm sharing my story, and I never thought I would tell it publicly. Messy, it's real, and if you are someone who helps everyone else but struggles to help yourself, I see you. And I need you to know something. Your trauma is valid, even if it doesn't look like what you think trauma should look like. I was a licensed professional counselor, nearly 2 decades in the field. I had clients coming to me for clarity, for healing, for breakthrough moment. And I could spot manipulation tactics from a mile away. I was on it. But in my own home, that's the struggle. I was living in what I now recognize was emotional and psychological abuse. You know, those silent treatments that last for days, the constant criticism disguised as trying to help you be better. If you heard that, go ahead and comment, because I see you and I've been there and couldn't stand it, but didn't know why. You know, those conversations that somehow came back or became my fault or my problem to fix. I know, putting up with that. And here's the thing that was messing up my head the most. Because I was a therapist, I internalized that narrative that I was a problem, that I could fix it. Sounds familiar? If you're a helper, a fixer, or a natural caregiver, you know the story. But you know what? We're so good at carrying everybody else's emotional load that we forget we're drowning under the weight. If you feel like you're drowning, go ahead and put drowning in the comments. So I understand. And the most dangerous lie that I told myself was this: I should have known better. As if education creates immunity from manipulation. It doesn't. As if me having a degree in psychology means that I couldn't be gaslit. As if being smart protected me from being human. It didn't. The day I realized I had to leave, y'all, it wasn't cinematic. I didn't say all things are off. There wasn't this dramatic confrontation. And really, there wasn't no final straw that broke everything open. It was actually quiet. You know why? Because I had honed in on what was going on. I was watching my children, my baby, and I saw something that had stopped me cold in my steps. They were walking on eggshells too. They were learning to read the room, to manage daddy's moods, and to make themselves smaller when the tension was thick. I realized that they were learning that this is what love looks like. That relationships are supposed to feel like survival. That mama's job is to absorb everyone else's emotions and to pretend that everything's fine. That's when I knew. Not because I was finally ready to save myself. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I was worth saving at that point. Obviously, I was putting up with it. But I knew they were. And sometimes we find courage in others first. Believing was just the beginning. Because when you've been gaslit for years, even your own intuition feels like it needs a permission slip. I would second guess everything, my memories, my feelings, my right to be upset. I was a licensed therapist with imposter syndrome in my own life. The freedom isn't instant. And I didn't leave and suddenly feel empowered. I felt terrified. Because when you've been with someone who's been telling you who you are for years, you kind of actually forget who you actually are underneath all that survival. I had to unlearn so much, that my worth wasn't tied to how useful I was, that I could have needs without being needy, that setting boundaries wasn't mean, but it was necessary, and that my trauma was real even though it didn't leave visible scars. And that's where the Brave Self Method was born. It wasn't in a classroom or a textbook, but in the messy, beautiful work of me putting myself back together again. Brave wasn't about being fearless. It was about me, number one, B, building boundaries that actually protects my peace. R, reclaiming regulation over my nervous system. A, awakening awareness for patterns and triggers. B, finding my voice again and using it. E, embodying true empowerment from the inside out. And this method didn't just save me, it transformed me. And now it's what I use to help other high-achieving women who are tired of performing strength while secretly falling apart. Now, if you're watching this and something in your chest feels tight right now, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, he's talking about me, you're in the right place. So I want you to comment below, right place. Because this channel is for women like us who have it all together on paper, but we are feeling emotionally stuck. For women who are solving everybody else's problems, but can't figure out our own. Who are smiling in those meetings while screaming on the inside. Who've mastered the art of looking fine while quietly wondering if we are really broken. Look, beautiful, let me tell you something. You're not broken. You just have been in survival mode for so long that you've forgotten what thriving feels like. Not your fault. You're healing, that is your responsibility. Not because you owe the world your wellness, but because you owe yourself wholeness. And I'm here to walk with you into something better. And that's not perfection. Because you know what? That's another prison. And it's not the hustle culture wellness, because that is just trauma and yoga pants. But it's real regulation, real recovery, and a version of yourself that feels like coming home. Now, if any of this resonates with you, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I want you to know this channel is going to be a safe space to unlearn the noise, to rebuild your identity, and to grow into the woman you were always meant to be. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment, please, any of them that I've talking about, the prison, all the things that I've mentioned, because I want you to feel and know that things are going to be better. Please, if you ever felt like you should have known better about something in your life, or if you ever have been a therapist to everyone else but yourself, let's connect here, because honestly, we're better together. And if you want to dive deeper into the Brave Self method, I have a whole video breaking down each step, and I'll also link it here. And if you're ready to build boundaries that actually stick, there's a video for that too. Now remember, your trauma doesn't define you, but your healing can transform you. And you deserve to feel safe in your own skin, powerful in your own voice, free in your own life. I'll see you in the next video, beautiful human. Take care of yourself.